This is what's wacky to us. I'm Rick.
I'm Song.
Welcome. Yes, we here today. We back.
Finally.
We on track.
You know, sometimes we have, we experience technical difficulties and had to upgrade our equipment and get back on track. Yes, we had to get back on track, and we're back.
All right. So what's the subject today? What we gonna be a subject matter half an expert on?
Well, we're gonna talk about how sometimes, you know, you just have to let people rock out. You can see the train wreck coming 6 miles away, and you just, you know, sometimes you have to let people do what they want to do despite them asking you for advice, and then you're gonna see what they would rather do. So, you know, we're going to talk about that and the circumstances that come up with that, where you just sometimes have to just let people rock. Let them rock out. And
that's meaning, like, I think a lot of people, they really don't want your input. They just want you to listen. And
or
they want you to agree with them.
Yep.
That's what it is. And they come to you with this, like, what do you think? They asking you, what do you think? But really, when you tell them what you think, they're not going to use none of that. So it's like a waste of energy. It's like a waste of energy, a waste of time. So sometimes, like, especially with older people, like, they'll come to you like, yo, this happened, and blah, blah, blah. What you think I should do? And you'll go and listen, and you going back and forth. And then later on, you be like, but you did everything you said you wasn't going to do.
Literally.
And now you're in a situation.
Literally.
So that happens a lot, especially with the older generation, especially like with like my friends and older, you know, older as I see it.
Family members,
everybody.
You just gotta let them rock out. You be
let them go,
knowing that the crap they talking about is some straight BS. You be knowing it's wrong, and you be knowing it's full of crap. And sometimes you just gotta let them rock out. You know, people have selective memory, and you'll be like in your own mind, like, what? Where did that come from? Because that's not what happened. But you know what? I don't want to argue. I'm not trying to debate this. If that's how you saw it, have at it. If you like it, I love it. I'm not even going to argue with you.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, a person is actually looking for agreement and not, you know, they have a problem and they're not really looking for the right solution. They already in their head, they got the solution, like what they're going to do. They're looking for that total agreement. Because if you flipping on them and start being like, yeah, do that. Yeah, that's what it is. Do that. They're gonna be like, yeah. They're gonna be like, yeah, you're right. Like, no, you was gonna do the same way. You're right. I'm not right because this is not even what I really think. But I'm just going along with you because this is what you want to hear, and I know this is what you want to hear. So that's where I'm at with it right now. So my fans listen to it. Sometimes you shouldn't be listening to this podcast because sometimes I might be agreeing with you and be like, yo, you're a total fucking idiot with what you're about to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
And that goes for, you know, like I said, people will ask you for advice, you know. People that know me know I do readings for people, and I will give them the best advice possible, and they'll turn around and do the antithesis of everything. And you know what? Okay.
Yeah.
We literally can discuss the best solution, and you'll do the opposite, and then be like, you know what? I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Oh well. You know what? Okay. It's have at it. I'm not going to argue with you. That's what keeps me in business. Like I said, I can see the train wreck coming a mile away. It's like if you know someone is an alcoholic and you're steadily giving them liquor, but at the same time saying you want to help them and you don't want them to drink no more. Okay. In all reality, that's not what you want. You just want someone to co-sign the foolishness, and you got to let people rock out. People will ask you for advice. And they don't want the advice. They want the cosign. They want you to cosign whatever BS they have going on.
Yeah.
I'm going to cosign all your bullshit. All of it.
And don't get me wrong. I may not have the solution for you. But don't come asking, because you coming to me like you respect my opinion. So don't come here asking me my opinion and then totally not use it. Because now you're just doing foolery. So... and you can harp on this like in many different ways, because it's like with business, people do it. They be opening a business. Like I have a lot of friends in business, and they'll be getting ready to open a business venture. They be like, "Yo, what you think?" Blah blah blah. They'll turn around. You'll tell them what you think. Y'all, like someone said, you guys are coming together. The meeting of the minds. Come up with a doable plan. Do the total opposite. And from my personal experience, that opposite always is wrong, and it's always something. And then you come back. I don't want to hear when you come back, yo, you was right. I hate that. I hate that. Yo, you was right. I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Nobody want to hear that. And it does nothing for me anyway by you telling me I was right.
And you wasted my time then. That means when we talked about this, you wasted my time because you went and did the opposite. That's why sometimes you just got to let people rock so you could see what they'd rather do. They can ask you for the greatest, you could give the greatest advice, the perfect solution, the perfect answer, and they'll do the opposite. And that's when you get to see what they would rather do. They'd rather do what you didn't say. So
yeah, and I don't care if you think I was right after the fact. Like, I don't think if you think I'm right during the fact, honestly, because you came to me, I didn't seek you out. So stuff like that just baffles me. And it's a lot of that goes around.
You get that, you take the advice and then act like you didn't get to where you are because of the advice. You suddenly act like you're the one who had all the answers and you're the one who came to be where you are, and you won't give the credit, you won't give anything. So you know what? Again, you got to let them rock out, because when you give the advice and they do take it and then want to act like, oh, I did it. I got here because of all of this. Not because, my best friend gave me some solid advice that really worked for me. Not, my parents looked out with some great advice. No, you got there on your own, even though you came seeking the advice. But again.
Oh, kids are definitely like.
Family, everybody. They won't give you the credit, and you get to see what they would rather do.
Kids come back years later and be like, you was right. They come back many years later, be like, you was right, Mom. You was right. Yo, Pops, you was right about that.
I know.
That's after they done screwed
I know
up.
I was right.
Yeah,
that's why I told you.
One thing a kid doesn't realize, like, I've been where you're at. You never been where I'm at.
Literally.
Like, you can't even, it's no thing of catching up. Like, you're going to get there, and I'm going to be older. I'm going to be more wiser. So it's like, unless you got this kid that's just a genius, he might be a genius at something that's in the workforce or educational, but he's probably going to be not a genius in just basic common sense. Like most people that's like eggheads and smart, and they're not smart. They don't have common sense. So, like
common
kids,
sense ain't common.
It ain't. And kids try to, they like I don't want to hear, like, I always tell someone, I'd be like, I don't want to hear from a person telling me how to live longer that's half my age.
Okay.
How are you trying to tell me how to live longer and I already have lived longer than you? That's crazy. They're like, yo, you should do this. Stop eating that. You should stop doing this. Stop doing that.
But they're the expert.
They're the expert.
You're the proof, but
you're like
they're
half
the expert.
my age.
You're the proof.
Like, shouldn't you be getting advice from me? Like, how do I get to that at your age? What you do to get to your age? I don't know.
They looking for a cosigner. That's all.
There's so much going on.
There's no common sense. You have to let people be so you can see what they would rather do. And when you see it, like I said, you'll see the crash and burn that's coming. You'll see it. But you also know that if you say, you know what, you're headed for a crash and burn, the person gets mad at you. Then it's like, oh, I thought you was going to support me. And, oh, you don't really care that what I want to do. And it's like, okay, you asked me what I thought. I tell you. I might even give you the exact reasons why I think you're going to crash and burn. And you still will get mad and resentful and have something to say like, oh, how could you? You don't support me. And that's not it. I'm giving you my version of events. It might come from experience. It might come because someone was in a similar situation and I saw what happened there.
Gunshots to those who do that. Gunshots.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, we taking shots. Just
How
like
do y'all
that.
react when people ask you for advice and they don't take it, and you see that you knew what they didn't listen to was going to lead them to the situation that they're in now, which is a precarious one? You know, how do you deal with that? Do you just be like, oh, well, shrugs, it is what it is? Or are you like, freaking idiot? Are you like, see, this is why I told you? You know, you're going to come back with your 2 cents of like, yeah, I saw that coming 10 miles ago. That's why I told you. You know, or are you like, oh, well.
Because we and then, as, you know, being my age and getting up there, it's crazy because I'm actually watching the world change right in front of my eyes. Like everything. From cars to people to, you know, just everything. And people, what I did see change, people want to hear they don't want the hard truth. They want the comfortable lie. Nobody want to be uncomfortable. They want the comfortable lie versus the hard truth. And that is a problem here. That is a problem here in America. I don't know about foreign countries because I'm not in a foreign country, but here it's a problem. It's creating a really bad problem where everybody's feelings like, I don't want to hear the truth. I want you to comfort me.
Coddle me.
Yeah, and that's not going to build character.
It doesn't build character. That's why we at where we at now. Everybody just co-signs foolishness. You'll see the dumbest shit on social media that 100 other people will co-sign, and you'll be like, surely someone sees the idiocy in this, and they don't. And you know what? You gotta let it rock. Let them be stupid.
Because if you go in there and voice your opinion, like on something like what someone said on social media, all of those people, because those are like-minded people, and you in the wrong room to voice your opinion, they're gonna jump all over you. And then, you know, they're gonna, oh, this and that, you don't understand, da. And they could be 100% wrong. But in their world, in that post, you are wrong.
Because you're not co-signing the foolishness.
Yeah. And you in the wrong post.
And that's going on right now. The people who are dissenting from let this man be in the women's swimming team. And, you know, it's like you have one half that's like, oh, it is a woman because he said he's a woman. And that's a woman. And you have the other people like, it's obvious that this man is winning in women's sports because he's a man. And the DNA,
after
the muscle
he
build,
500 and something,
right?
When he was a male swimmer,
so he just was like, "I'm going to say I'm a girl, and I'll be in first place versus being in 512th place." And you know, people co-sign the foolery, and now it took all of this time for people with common sense to be like, no, we're not allowing this foolishness anymore. You had half who were like, you know what, let them rock. You know what?
Until he started taking medals from Becky, you know.
Okay.
And they start being like, no, this is not okay. He's a man. He has testosterone. He's just born different. Just like with everything else. You know? Everybody want to be comfortable. We don't want to hurt feelings and say, no, hey, no. You know, start a league of transgender people and you guys compete against each other. Everything have to be inclusive. And I don't think everything have to be. Me personally, I don't think everything have to be included. If it's fair, yeah. But if it's not fair, you can't include people. And somebody having that much testosterone, I don't care if you're on pills or not or whatever you're doing to decrease your testosterone. And don't get me wrong, some women can beat males at sports. Yes, they can. But 90% of those males are gonna the male gene will show up and help them out and give them an advantage, sort of like steroids. They say steroids do, you know. So, you know, people want to be comfortable, and we're comforting everybody, and it's starting to become a big problem. And just like, but one thing I'm glad about is like with black women are stepping up against this anti-masculinity thing. I'm starting to see a lot of black women like really stepping to the plate and like, no, you women are wrong. You women are wrong. And this whole independent thing is a lie. Because, you know, the household is meant to be with a man and a woman, two people. Like, why take all of that on and work harder to get all this stuff just to say I'm independent and struggle still? You got to get more schooling. You got to get more everything just on you. just to be like, I'm independent. I don't need this. I don't need that. But guess what? Most people that say they don't need something always need something.
And you're also, why would you intentionally deprive your child of what they're entitled to? Your child is entitled to two parents. Hence, that's what it took to create them. They are entitled to the love of two parents. And, once again, that's always coming into question now. We did a show on this a few shows back. You can go back a few shows and we talked about why in our communities that is stressed vehemently. Being strong and independent, and pretty much every other community is teaching you from childhood how to be a good mate, how to be a good husband, how to be a good wife. When, getting married is a customary thing in raising your children outside of our communities. And that's something else that we have just kind of let rock. And now that our communities struggle, well, they're not even struggling, because we do have the number one in active fathers in children's lives in the black community. Go figure. It took all this time for that to be acknowledged, because everybody acts like black children don't have no fathers, and it turns out black fathers are the number one most active in their children's lives. But again, we let it rock that our daughters should be strong, independent, and they don't need nobody to take care of them. And that's rooted in a lot of other things, but it ultimately hurts the community for the long run. There's got to be some common sense. Sometimes you have to let people rock when they wrong. So that's the only way they're going to learn. Let it rock. Let them go. Sometimes you let people with the wrong memory rock out. You be knowing that's not what happened, but you know what? Have at it. I don't want to argue about it.
But my advice to the listeners would be this: don't be scared of the hard truth.
Word.
Don't trade the hard truth for the comfortable lie, because the hard truth is going to get you forward. The comfortable lie is going to keep you right where you at, and you're going to keep repeating the same mistakes over and over. So,
and like we was talking about today, sometimes you have to do things differently to get a different result.
Yes.
You have to. If you keep doing the same thing you did and you're still getting the same result, it's because it's time to change.
It's not working.
You got to sometimes throw something different to the wall and see what sticks.
And then, I'm going to tell you from my personal experience with a lot of things. Like sometimes, and I always used to call it, I used to compare it to being in the dryer. Like when you're in the dryer, if you're in the dryer and the clothes, you just spinning and spinning and spinning. Sometimes you got to get out. You got to get out and see. Stop spinning because you're in that dryer, you're dizzy. So when you get out, you see things more clearly, and just fall back from things that you're doing for a length of time, and just you're gonna see things so much clearer. And when you jump back in, you're going to get better results. I'm telling you, because staying in that dryer is going to have you just spinning. You can't even think straight. So you just going with it. Stop just going with it just because. Get out, step back, and get some focus. Focus is everything. Because when you focus and you see clear, you're going to be like, wow. You're going to see everything you was doing wrong, and you're going to be able to actually fix some of that stuff.
And when you change things up, that's how you change your result also. When you do something different and you try it different, and everything starts small. Start small with the differences. Take a different route. Change up the furniture. Change the energy. Change it up for a different result.
Change yourself up for a different result.
You notice how we took this podcast from sometimes you got to let people rock out, and we changed it up and got all the way to changing things up. That's how you got to do, because we be taking left turns on what's wacky to us.
That's what we do here, and we ain't gonna keep harping on those old things. I don't know. You got any wacky news today? What kind of wacky news you got?
What I had heard, which was crazy.
What?
There was a woman in Florida who was fishing and came across the swordfish, and the swordfish when you fishing, and that swordfish be going crazy, and it wound up stabbing and killing her from fishing.
Oh man!
Like that was like one of those freak once in a 1 in 10 million chances.
Dived into her?
It was bucking with the fishing, and wound up. It was just the nuttiest thing out of all things. The swordfish, and the swordfish winds up killing you.
So what you think about this thing that's going on in Disney World with the
kids,
with characters not
ignoring
the
little
black kids and hugging the little white kids.
Nuggets is getting disrespected.
I seen the face on them kids, man. They were so hurt, like when they were so hurt and waved them off, like it's like and the character waved the little kid off
a few times.
Yeah, and so all these videos been coming up now. It's all over the place. Like it wasn't just that one incident. It's been like.
And it's that same character who has multiple complaints of doing that, and the Sesame Place tried to downplay it like it was just a
no touch,
a no touch thing. So they're obviously not trying to, rectify this, and so hence all these other videos are coming to light. I think it's horrible. Anybody who could hurt a child, even in that kind of way, like for God's sakes, you're in a costume. Like, have some decency, some humility. Be a decent human being. It's a baby, for Christ's sake. It's outrageous. I would sue. I would be like, my baby's traumatized.
They on it. They on it. You done got entertainers, everybody speaking out, activists, everybody speaking out on it. But more wacky news. We got this guy from Hungary, Viktor Orban's speech. He's a far-right prime minister.
Oh, God.
Has lashed out against the mixing of European and non-European races in a speech that immediately drew outrage from the opposition.
Meanwhile, he himself looks like he's Middle Eastern-ish, of Middle Eastern descent. He does not look like an Aryan, Nordic, he said, we Caucasian. Are Hungarians. He don't look like it. He looks like he's from the Middle East.
We Hungarians are not a mixed race. And we do not want to become a mixed race, said Orban's on Saturday. He added that countries where European and non-Europeans mingle are no longer nations. So he's trying to keep it strong. Like he want Hungary to be strong. He don't want it to be mixed with nothing else that's European.
I'm saying there's mad Nazis that came from Hungary and Austria and all them. So he's just keeping the spirit alive.
Yeah, and some people they just want to keep their bloodline. They don't, it is what it is. So what you feel about with all of this? Another thing that's going on. Do you think taxes are like out of control?
Right now, our taxes out of control. Everything is out of control right now. The hyperinflation, the tax. We get taxed for everything. Everything. I think everything is out of control. Taxes, fees. We get taxed for Christ's sake, we get taxed for water, a human right. Like, come on. Tax has been out of control, and the masses never actually come together to protest taxes. Like in Kung Fu movies, they always came together to protest the taxes. Now,
yeah, right.
We just pay taxes like,
Yeah, there's so many taxes. Like I always tell someone, I say, it's not the paycheck. I said, it's not the paycheck. I said, it's the taxes.
It
the
is.
average person, they can keep most of their paychecks. They'll be fine. They'll be fine even with inflation. They would be fine. But you get taxed on your check. All right. Your boss get taxed. The people that pay you get taxed. Then you get taxed when you buy goods.
You get taxed again.
If you in like up here in Pennsylvania, municipalities, depending on municipality, you get taxed on that. Another just for being in a certain county, you get taxed on that. So all these taxes is just sucking up your check.
And then you got to pay. You buy your house, and the house is paid off. Then you still paying taxes on your house after your house is paid off. And then even while you're paying off your house, you're paying taxes. We pay taxes on food. We pay taxes on water.
Pay taxes on lotto. Just think, people hit lotto, and just because it's so much money, they just blow it all. Even that they're taking half of your money.
Numbers that you picked.
Half of your money they're gonna take. Just off rip. And you don't care because you're like, hey, I only paid $1 for it, da-da-da. No, you should care because that's the people's money that's in a pool which made that prize that big. It's not coming from the government.
Exactly.
It's not coming from it's coming from the people. Give you all your money. I can see taking a little small 10% tax. Like, all right, 10%. You make $70 million. We're gonna take $7 million, which is a hell of a lot. Still, no. You win $70 million. They taking half 30 million. Come on, people. We fighting for the wrong things.
Always.
We need to band together and start fighting for the right things. Stop fighting each other and start. This system is really bringing us down. It's really making life harder to live. So, we took up a lot of you guys' time. That's what's wacky to us. That's what we do.
And we're going to be back from here on out now. Like I said, sometimes we have to go through the matrix and have some upgrades and whatnot. But we back. We stronger than ever. And we even got our first monetized check. So we on the way. What's Wacky to Us is back. We thank you for joining us.
Tell them to go to the website. I mean, not the website. Tell them to go to the Facebook.
Yes, go to our Facebook page at What's Wacky to Us on Facebook. We are always engaging on there. Check us out there. We have What's Wacky to Us at gmail.com. If you want to leave a comment, a concern, a question, we outside. Hey, holla at us.
We out.
Thanks for joining us.